adjourn is deemed to have been made. The member for Haldimand Norfolk has given notice of dissatisfaction with the answer to a question given by the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry. The member has 5 minutes to debate the matter, and the Minister or Parliamentary Assistant may reply for up to 5 minutes. The member from Haldimand Norfolk.
Thank you, Speaker, and I appreciate this extra time to expand on some questions that I previously raised with respect to compensation for natural gas well damage down in Norfolk County. And Speaker, it was back in September 2015 I met with Ian and Kim Grant from my constituency. They run a home decor business of their residents in the Silver Hill area. In March of 2015, the Grants were notified that the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry natural gas relief well along Big Creek had been capped. The Grants were advised this relief well was releasing toxic water with high levels of hydrogen sulfide into Big Creek and had to be capped. Now, I'm told this well had been capped back in the 60s or other developments, and they caused them to reopen the well at some time in the past, I feel MNRF believed further issues could potentially occur. So my office contacted the Minister's office, contacted the Petroleum Operations Office. MNRF was aware of the situation and assured my office and assured the Grants they would be monitoring. Pressure built up. And in June of this year, the well located on the Grants property, this is another well, plus another well in the area, began to spew heavy amounts of hydrogen sulfide into the air, and sulfur water spilled onto their property and into Big Creek. As a result of an action by the MNRF, in my view, the Grants, along with 5 other families in the area, were ordered by the Haldimand Norfolk Health Unit to vacate their primary residence on August 18, 2017, due to the fluctuating, unpredictable concentrations of the hydrogen sulfide. As well, another 16 families in the area were put on alert. There was an order from Dr. Malcolm Locke, our acting Medical Officer of Health, and I'll quote from the order. Medical Officer of Health for Haldimand Norfolk Health Unit has determined the fluctuating and unpredictable concentrations of hydrogen sulfide gas which are escaping from an abandoned gas well have been measured in the ambient air to reach levels above what is considered safe for human health. So as of today, both wells have been capped, but again, only after the county stepped in and the Haldimand Norfolk Health Unit stepped in and called on the government to do something. Norfolk County Mayor Charlie Luke wrote an urgent letter August 31st to the Premier and to the Minister, and I quote, "The MNRF is not fulfilling its statutory obligations to the residents of Norfolk County. The MNRF is not sharing data in any forthright matter and taking a narrow, legalistic approach with respect to both expenditures and public safety in relation to well number T008725. Section 7.0.1 of the Oil, Gas and Salt Resources Act provides an MNRF inspector with the authority to order a well to be capped when it poses a hazard to the public or the environment. And explicitly, this has not occurred, notwithstanding the fact 6 residents have been ordered evacuated by the Medical Officer of Health." It's the end of that letter, August 31st. It's covered by certainly local media. Norfolk Today had an article titled "Gas Leak Causes Nightmare of a Situation for a Local Family." That was September 23rd. Simcoe Reformer, August 28th, and I quote, "Evacuation of homes could prove lengthy." And the people that were evacuated didn't return for something like 133 days. I'll have to check the number on that. That's quite a long time, obviously. Spectator covered this. So again, to summarize my questions earlier, will Norfolk County be compensated for their municipal time and resources to deal with this? Will the Grants, Ian and Kim, be compensated by the province for loss of business, damage to their property and equipment? And I raise the issue of any long-term health impact on this couple. Again, we ask what the MNRF is doing to assure this situation doesn't keep occurring as it has for so long over the number of years. We know there's a precedent for compensation in situations like this, and again, if it's required, we request that compensation be forthcoming. Thank you.
The Minister for Natural Resources and Forestry has 5 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. It's my pleasure to rise this evening and discuss the member's concern from Haldeman Norfolk that he raised earlier today. And I would like to reiterate that public health and safety is extremely important to our government. Any time a family is evacuated from their home or impacted by situations that are beyond their control, it can be extremely distressing, and I certainly understand that. So this is one of the reasons why my ministry has taken steps to solve these problems related to the management of petroleum gas wells in our province. In the coming months, my ministry will be reaching out to municipalities to discuss planning and emergency management scenarios related to petroleum hazards and risks. The education and outreach work will help clarify roles and responsibilities, and it will also allow the municipalities whose main responsibility it is to plan ahead by better understanding these risks. However, that was still not enough for my ministry. More research does need to be done before we take a course of action, which is why we have also assembled a multi-ministry technical team to help us better understand the geology and subsurface gases in southwestern Ontario. Under the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act, municipalities are responsible for emergency management within their geographic areas. The Ontario government is responsible for emergency management on Crown land and unorganized municipalities. There have been incidents involving leaking or old petroleum wells, improperly abandoned wells, or contaminated water wells in southwestern Ontario, located in Norfolk, Leamington, Port Burwell, and Big Creek areas. If a leak occurs, the local municipality can choose to initiate an emergency, and the local health unit can issue evacuation orders, and our ministry can provide technical advice to support the municipality and the health unit. In all petroleum-related situations, my ministry works with the municipality and the local health unit by providing technical advice and support. So I'd like to reiterate once again, it's the local municipal government that has the primary responsibility for incident and emergency management. However, in certain circumstances, my ministry can assist landowners through our Abandoned Works program for high-priority wells. This is something I want to elaborate more on. The Abandoned Works program is meant to assist landowners with costs associated with legacy wells on their property that we're not commercially responsible for. MNRF treats each request on a case-by-case basis and, in limited cases, assists the landowner with the costs of plugging a leaking well. These decisions are made based to the risks to public safety and degree of environmental contamination. However, let me be clear, the landowner is ultimately responsible for wells on their private property. In the situation referenced earlier, my ministry came in under the Abandoned Works program and capped the well in question. I'm happy to explain the steps. In 2015, 3 visits by my ministry indicated that H2S readings varied between 0 and 17 parts per million, depending on weather conditions and measurement distances. On July 18, 2016, I sent Mr. Grant and the member's office a letter and a report from Matrix. In July 2017, Mr. Grant informed the MOECC of a change in the status of his well. An inspector was sent to reassess the site July 26, 2017, and as a result of that visit, the Grants were notified the next day that MNRF would immediately start the process to plug the well under the Abandoned Works program. Under this program, the first step in the process of plugging the well includes tendering the project with qualified vendors and the creation of a contract between the landowner and the contractor. I want to highlight the fact that my ministry expedited the tendering process significantly in this situation, and the cost associated was $200,000. Speaker, we can all agree that's a lot of money, so let's be clear here. Without this program, Ian and Kim Grant, the private landowners, would have normally been responsible for those costs. So I understand the Grants had requested compensation for their situation, particularly cost recovery for the business in the area. But unfortunately, Speaker, my ministry is not able to pay for municipal costs or the economic losses. However, we did step forward. We saved the landowner over $200,000, and we have capped the well so that their health and safety will be assured from there forward. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no further matter to debate, I deem the motion to adjourn